What is up, guys? Londrick here, and now I'm back with an audio video. And as the title says, yes, it's a rebooking. So, about 3 or 4 years ago, I used to rebook some WrestleManias and shit on this channel, like WrestleMania 9, WrestleMania 11, etc. And I haven't done one for a long time. But I thought, you know what? Recently, I started getting itchy for it, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to do one and just see how it goes. And that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to rebook this one and then see what the reaction is. And if the reaction's good, I'll probably do a few more. And the one I've chosen is quite an interesting one, actually. Because this was a great WrestleMania. And that's WrestleMania 30 from 4 years ago in 2014 from New Orleans in the Superdome, not the Silverdome, Hogan. This was a great WrestleMania, wasn't it? However, in my mind, I've got a card where I feel like I can turn a great WrestleMania into one of the top 3 or 4 WrestleManias of all time, in my opinion. Just felt a little bit of rejigging. We could have had one of the absolute best, greatest WrestleManias of all time, like a legendary WrestleMania. So let's do it. I'm going to go through the matches and then give you my rebookings. You know how it works. Let's go through the real card first of all. First of all, we had main event for the undisputed WWE title, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista. But Bryan also wrestled Triple H in the first match. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, the Women's Invitational match for the Divas title, the Shield versus Kane and the New Age Outlaws, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and is that it? I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it, yeah. And I think the pre-show was Usos versus Ryback versus... I think it was it Los Matadors then? It was those guys, but I can't remember if it was them or Epico and Primo. Who else? Fuck. Nah, can't remember the fourth team. Real Americans, yeah. Real Americans, Cesaro and Swagger, yeah. So, let's see what I can do. Can I make this WrestleMania even better? Let's find out. So, briefly, pre-show match. Let's just get this one out the way. A one-on-one match between Cesaro and Jack Swagger. So basically, I do the Real American split a little bit after the Elimination Chamber, because it seems like that's what they were building to, and that's what we got at WrestleMania. So let's say night after Elimination Chamber, they can have a match of someone, I don't know, fucking anyone really. Just pick 2 random guys that they can have a match with. Sheamus, Cesaro and Swagger lose, then they can get into a big argument, and then Swagger and Cesaro start fighting. Zeb Colt the size of Swagger, so Cesaro's the babyface. Then stick this one on the pre-show, give it like 12 minutes or something. Cesaro gets a strong win over Jack Swagger, and then we'll move on to the main card. Now with the main card, we're going to have the exact same Hogan, Rock, Austin segment. Hogan's still going to be the host of WrestleMania. Hogan's still going to fluff his lines. Hulk Hogan's still going to think he's in the Silverdome. Then, of course, Austin's going to come out. The Rock's going to come out. That was a magnificent opening segment. No need to change that whatsoever. Just let that be what it is. But the first match will be Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. Keep it the same kind of. So I'll explain more detail later on, but the WrestleMania main event is going to be one-on-one. Randy Orton defend the WWE title against Daniel Bryan. Of course, let's right the wrong in real life here. Because I did briefly consider having Batista come back early and beat Randy Orton at the Royal Rumble and have heel Batista main event negate Daniel Bryan. But I've got another plan for Batista, which we'll get into. And I didn't really have another plan for Randy Orton, so I kept the title on Orton. So, what we do is we right the wrong that WWE did, and then, like he should have done, Daniel Bryan wins the 2014 Royal Rumble. He can still have his little mini feud with Bray Wyatt before in Royal Rumble and have that match at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Hell, break and even beat Bryan. That's not really an issue. That was fine. Because that made Bray Wyatt look strong. But Daniel Bryan could bounce back and later that night win the 2014 Royal Rumble like he should have done. I mean, he really should have done. For the purpose of Batista's not in this Royal Rumble, which I'll explain, but I'm going to have Batista return right after the Royal Rumble. So it could even come down to Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns was a runner-up in real life. So you can even still do that and have Daniel Bryan eliminate Roman Reigns last to win the Royal Rumble, and then from here, obviously the Authority still fucking with Daniel Bryan, but then they set Kane onto him. So Kane's obviously was in the Authority at the time, Corporate Kane. Obviously Bryan and Kane had the big history from Team Hell No. So in between this Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber, Daniel Bryan can have a little detour, a short feud with Kane, and this can culminate at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view where Daniel Bryan can get a solid win over Kane. Then after that, Triple H, next night on Raw, Triple H can say to Daniel Bryan, you know what, Bryan, you won the Royal Rumble. You contractually have the right to go to WrestleMania and fight for the championship. I can't legally, and even in the interest of fairness, won't change that. That's a lock. You will get your title shot. However, what I can do is book you in another match at WrestleMania. Let's call this a warm-up match. And Daniel Bryan's like, oh, you're going to throw another curveball at me, are you? What are you going to do? Put me in the ring with Kane again? I've already beaten Kane. And Triple H like, no, Bryan. Have you ever heard the expression, if you want a job doing well, do it yourself? You will go one-on-one with me, the game. And it won't be the COO of Triple H, it won't be the guy in the suit. It'll be the guy I am deep down inside, the badass, the cerebral assassin, the game. And you know what, Bryan? I'm going to end this for good. You might face Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania, but there's no way you're going into that match anywhere near 100% because I'm going to beat you down, Bryan. I'm going to hurt you. I want to make sure you're not in condition to go 100% in that title match. So obviously, the Daniel Bryan Triple H is going to happen. But it's just going to be another match where Triple H is fucking with Bryan to try and soften up for Randy Orton. So with Bryan winning the Royal Rumble, you're not going to have that stipulation that if Bryan wins, he gets into the title match. So Bryan's got two matches at WrestleMania. He's got his title match, and then of course he's got his what Triple H is calling a warm-up match with him in the opening match of the show. And obviously the match goes exactly like it did in real life, exactly the same amount of length and all that sort of shit. And the same result, Daniel Bryan can get the upset win over Triple H. Triple H and Bryan, Stephanie can distract Bryan, and Triple H puts a beating on Bryan post-match. So there. Then match number 2 for the WWE Tag Team titles. The New Age Outlaws defend against the Usos. So basically just pushing us up to WrestleMania, because obviously after the Outlaws won the Tag Team titles at the Royal Rumble 2004 kickoff show, then the Usos went in a little feud. The Outlaws retained at Elimination Chamber, but the Usos won the Tag Team titles on the March 3rd, 2014 edition of Raw, which was cool. But I just can't help feel like this should have happened at WrestleMania. I really do. So yeah, that's basically what you do. Yeah, extend this feud. Maybe have the Outlaws cheat in that March Raw Tag Team title. Maybe they get deliberately counted out or something. And then finally the Usos challenge them to one last match, and then they have a stipulation where the Usos, if they don't beat the Outlaws for the titles at WrestleMania, they can't challenge for the tag team titles as long as the Outlaws are the champion. You know the old stipulation they've done loads and loads of over the years. Just feel like that would work really well, because it usually does. So yeah, basically just that. Don't really change the storyline too much. Just extend the feud into WrestleMania, because one, felt like it would have been obviously winning the titles at WrestleMania and winning the titles at Raw is a completely different thing. Winning the titles at WrestleMania is the pinnacle, the way to do it. And of course, it's probably going to take till this year for the Usos to get on the main WrestleMania card, which is just plain ridiculous. So, number 2, it gets the Usos on the WrestleMania main card like they should have been a long time ago. And obviously gives the New Age Outlaws one last big title match. And obviously this would be the last time the New Age Outlaws would ever wrestle for the WWE Tag Team titles. And this match doesn't need to be long, really. Maybe 8 minutes. Isn't that this one match would be alright being fairly short. I've got no problem with that, because who really wanted to see the New Age Outlaws in 2014 wrestling 15-minute plus matches? Not me, anyway. So yeah, just a 6 to 8 minute match with the Usos defeating the New Age Outlaws to become the new WWE Tag Team Champions at WrestleMania. Then we got match number 3, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So same as in real life, but obviously if you're thinking how the Outlaws in the Tag Team title match, I need to do something for Kane. So Kane can go in this Battle Royal, basically. So that's your basic change. And I'll take Brad Maddox or someone out, I don't really care. You can take any one of the lower card guys out that were in this match, replace with Kane. So the only real difference I would make is a slight alteration to the ending. Though this can come down to Cesaro, Sheamus, Kane and the Big Show. The Big Show can eliminate Sheamus. Then we got Cesaro in there with 2 monster veterans in the Big Show and Kane. Then they can do the whole thing where, do you know the spot where someone's on the ropes and a big man goes for a big boot, and then the guy ducks and the big man's draped on the ropes and then gets shoved over. So you can have Cesaro eliminate Kane that way. Then of course you have Cesaro eliminate the Big Show exactly the same way, with the big slam walking across the ring and chucking him out. So just like in real life, Cesaro can win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now granted, I would have kept him as the babyface after that, but this is rebooting WrestleMania. This is not rebooting 2014 as a whole, so maybe for another time. Now, next up on the match of the night, I feel like it definitely should have happened on this show, but it didn't. And that's a New Orleans street fight with the Shield versus the Wyatt family 3. So, basically, much like the Usos and the New Age Outlaws, just extended this feud to WrestleMania, because let's face it, the John Cena Bray Wyatt thing in hindsight was awful, wasn't it, really? And what proved, because that at the time, obviously it was like, yeah, Bray Wyatt was facing John Cena at WrestleMania, but let's face it, that feud just ended horribly for him, and it took him a long time to recover from that. So I say he's never fully recovered from that. And looking back, it was nice that Shield got a big, dominant, strong squash victory over Kane New Age Outlaws, legends from the Attitude Era, but you gotta feel like they were kind of wasting this WrestleMania. This I feel like would have been all around better. So of course, let's have the Elimination Chamber match, exactly the same. Whites go over. The March 3rd Raw match, that can go exactly the same. Then you can do the exact same storyline, building up tension in the Shield like they did. And then the face turn can go down exactly like it did. You can even turn on the Authority, but then obviously Kane gets pissed off and then books him in an ultimate match, puts him back in the ring of the Wyatt family, only this time, no rules, no disqualifications, anything goes. It's a fucking street fight, motherfuckers. Obviously tornado tag, so no need to tag in now. Just have utter chaos, but put this stipulation on the match to make it more interesting. Because obviously the Authority want rid of the Shield, so stipulation is the Shield have to win this match or the Shield must disband. So now we're going to test them to see if the Shield really have got back on the same page, and if they haven't, they're fucked basically. So put it now where the Shield have to make sure they're on the same page to beat the Wyatt family, otherwise they will have to be dissolved forever. And then get the match, just let them do whatever the fuck they want, obviously within reason. Just let them beat the shit out of each other and all that. feel like this it'd be just as good, if not better, than the Elimination Chamber match they had. Because that Elimination Chamber match was a classic, it really was. Probably one of my favourite WWE matches of the last 5 years or so. This is how I would let it go down. So, I would do a thing early in the match where Dean Ambrose gets injured, Dean Ambrose gets hurt, Dean Ambrose gets taken to the back. Then it's down to Rollins and Reigns versus the Wyatt family. They can even do a thing where it looks like they've took Rollins out. Maybe they can, I don't know, do a triple team move through the announce table or something. So then it looks like it's down to Roman, 1-on-3 against the Wyatt family. Roman could get circled. Then the beat down will be put on Roman Reigns for a little bit. And then in what I like to call the old Terry Funk spot, because this is a spot Terry Funk was known for, Dean Ambrose could come back from the thing, maybe limping down the ring, and Dean Ambrose in his hand has a barbed wire baseball bat. So Dean Ambrose returns to the action, starts using the barbed wire baseball bat, and then all of a sudden Seth Rollins can dive back into the ring, and then it's back to 3-on-3, and then the Shield can get the advantage. Shield can hit the triple power bomb, and let's say Harper. Because obviously I think you protect Bray in this case. Bray doesn't need to take the pinfall, so they can scoop Harper up in the triple power bomb. The Shield can defeat the Wyatt family to remain a faction. Then next up, one of the big matches for WrestleMania 30, I would have the Beast Brock Lesnar versus Batista. So something of a dream match. I would have preferred this to what they really did with Batista. Something of a dream match, really, going back to the OVW days, and then both coming to WWE around the same time. Obviously, Brock Lesnar leaving, Batista becoming a major star. Obviously, both power men with tattoos. So there's definitely a lot of parallels and comparisons in the careers between Brock Lesnar and Batista. And there's also thought, what if Brock Lesnar and Batista ever fought in a WWE ring? Obviously, that's probably never going to happen now. For various reasons. So big change to Batista. I'm going to save Batista's return for the night after the Royal Rumble. Because I just feel like, because I think one of the big reasons Batista was received so negatively is because he was seen as taking what fans perceive as Daniel Bryan's spot. Obviously I think that was the main cause of resentment, and Batista's coming back after 4 years to steal Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania main event. And that's what caused the resentment. So I feel like if Batista came back to face Brock Lesnar instead of winning the Royal Rumble and trying to main event WrestleMania, I do feel like his comeback would have been better received. I really do. Batista come back night after Raw, cut a promo saying he's coming back to test himself against this crop of talent we've got now. He's putting, in case you've forgotten just who the hell he was, Batista was the Animal, and he was coming back. He's putting all the WWE superstars on notice that you're all on the hit list. I'm going to start going through every single one of you. And then Paul Heyman could come out and then clap Batista, saying, "That's very impressive, Batista. You know what, Batista, you're an impressive guy. I've been watching you for a long time, and I've got to say, maybe just, if you're lucky enough, maybe you could be Paul Heyman guy material." I would say just think about it, Dave. I mean, think about what it would be like to be a Paul Heyman guy. And besides, wouldn't it be better to have Brock Lesnar on your side instead of an enemy? So over the next couple of weeks, you can tease Batista becoming a Paul Heyman guy. Heyman can show up from once in a while, like making a little comment, and then they can announce at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that it's decision time. Is Brock Lesnar going to accept Paul Heyman's offer to become a Paul Heyman guy or not? They can do the thing where Batista's in the babyface. Teases like he's going to join up with Paul Heyman. But then obviously Swerve turns to him saying, "I would never sell out to a little snivelling creep like you. I know your game. I know you don't give a shit about me. You're just interested in screwing with my money and using me to keep yourself relevant." So then Obviously we see Batista then spine buster Paul Heyman and walk off, and then as Paul Heyman's being carted out, he makes a comment that, you know what, Batista, you shouldn't have done that. You know what they say payback is, don't you? So then the next night, obviously Batista can come out, and then Paul Heyman can come out, and he goes, Batista, oh, you must have some guts coming out here to face off with me again. And then he's like, I didn't come back on my own. Then he's like, Brock! Shouts at Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes out. Brock Lesnar and Batista have a huge brawl, like in the style of Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker had in 2015, with all the roster coming out to try and stop it and all that. And then the match is set for WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar versus Batista. You'll have Heyman and Brock talking about how even when they were training OVW, they knew one day it was going to come down to Brock Lesnar versus Batista. This match was inevitably going to happen one day, and WrestleMania is going to be that day. Then Lesnar can claim that the only reason Batista got away was because Brock Lesnar left. If Brock Lesnar hadn't left the WWE in 2004, Batista would never risen to the heights he did. And even Batista comments said, you know what, Brock, the day you walked into OVW, I knew one day it was going to be me and you on a big stage. I mean, I knew we were both going to make it in WWE, and there was always going to be this rivalry between us. And I always wondered to myself, who's tougher, me or Brock Lesnar? And now at WrestleMania we're going to find out, aren't we? So just build a match like that, and then obviously get to the match. You know, I think this match will be at least decent brawl. I mean, granted Batista's ring work wasn't that great in 2014, but I'm thinking if we play it right and book it right, we'd have at least a 3-star match here. Obviously it's not going to be Undertaker Shawn Michaels WrestleMania Classic style match, is it? But I think for what it could be at least an entertaining match. Just let these two bastards hit each other with all the big moves and that. And let's have Brock Lesnar hit the F5 on Batista, and Brock Lesnar can defeat Batista, because I feel obviously on this show Brock Lesnar brought a streak, which is incredible at the time. But obviously Brock had come off a few losses in 2014 to 12 or 13 to Triple H and John Cena. So obviously he lost his first WrestleMania back in 29 against Triple H. So, and obviously Batista wasn't around long enough anyway, so Batista was gone by June. So have Brock Lesnar go over Batista, and then next matchup, which is ironic now really when you think about it, the streak on the line, The Undertaker going against John Cena. So yeah, obviously the irony here is here we are, 2018, we're going to be in the Superdome in New Orleans, and Undertaker and John Cena is going to happen there. Obviously it hasn't been made official yet, but as you saw by the promo last week on Raw, it's happening, isn't it? It is happening. But what if this match happened 4 years ago, when The Undertaker still had the streak, and John Cena was still a full-time guy seen as the guy of the company. I mean, obviously this is about WrestleMania 24. Everyone was wondering what would happen if John Cena faced The Undertaker. And I felt like this is the perfect setting to do it. It makes the most sense to do it on this WrestleMania, doesn't it? For me, anyway. So obviously we can get night after Elimination Chamber. John Cena could obviously, he doesn't win the Elimination Chamber. He's not the WWE champion. So John Cena talks about his career. So I've built up a legacy. And last year at WrestleMania, I righted the biggest wrong of my career. I overcome the biggest challenge of my entire career last year. Last year I beat them one man I didn't know that I could definitely beat. I beat The Rock. I got the biggest win of my career. I've done it all now. I've been multiple time WWE champion. I've headlined WrestleManias. I've beat everybody that there is to beat. But there's one thing I have not done. One big challenge I have left. At this year, WrestleMania, I want to be the man to end the streak. I challenge the Undertaker one-on-one for WrestleMania. His streak versus my legacy. And then obviously Undertaker responded the following week, said, John Cena, you have no idea what you just asked for. You boy, your ass, your mouth just wrote a check your ass can't cash. If you want me, you're on. Then obviously, so build the match like that with video packages and stuff like that. Obviously, it's a friendly rivalry because it's two baby faces, so not a blood feud. In fact, I would say let's have no physical contact between the two before the match. Just build up that tension. Obviously, Taker can talk about, you know what, John, I respect you. I respect the hell out of you, but you called me out. You challenged me, and you challenged my streak, the thing that means the most to me. So I'll do what I have to do. If I have to destroy you to keep the streak alive, that is what I'll do. And it says I expect nothing less from you. I want you to give me your best because I want to give you your best. And I want to do this. I mean, everyone's talking about who will be the one to end the streak. We've had vet legends try it. I'm going to be that man. And then Taker's like, I've heard that a lot over the last few years, John. Everybody's coming to WrestleMania facing me, feeling confident they were going to win. But every single one of them fell to me. John, you're going to be no different. So you build the match along those lines, really. Then we get the match, and could this match be great? I mean, if Taker hadn't suffered the concussion in the early stage of the match with Lesnar, but obviously I think the crowd would be insane for this one. It would be, I mean, this would be one of the ones where, would the streak die? No. What I would do this match, obviously I'm not a big fan of finishing kickouts in general, but I feel like this match it'll be appropriate. So this is one of those matches where they just throw everything at each other, all the finishes and all that shit. Obviously Cena hits attitude adjustment, Taker hits tombstone. So two tombstones, we got 2 ears. I mean, yeah, granted I don't like this sort of shit generally, but I think in this match it'll be appropriate. Obviously Cena could barely survive Hell's Gate. Taker can barely survive the STF a couple of times, and then eventually it comes down to Undertaker hitting a 3rd tombstone. This is a decisive tombstone as Cena gets put down 1, 2, 3, 22-0. The streak stays alive, which I feel like it should have done. Cena defeats Undertaker defeats John Cena. Excuse me. The streak continues. I mean, this could be a genuinely awesome WrestleMania moment. Cena and Undertaker, and we'll see how the real match goes in real life this year goes down. But then after that, just keep the Divas match the same. Who gives a shit really? This is when they didn't give a shit about the Divas division. Just have that invitation exactly the same. I'm not really bothered. That was fine for a cool down match as it was. Then you can have it. Obviously AJ Lee can retain at the same time. I did consider pushing up the Page debut of this show, but I feel like it worked a lot better on the post WrestleMania Raw and that rabid crowd and all that. So just keep all this exactly the same. Then main event for the WWE Championship, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. So basically, yeah, like I said before, just basically Bryan wins the Royal Rumble. Obviously, the big match of Triple H like I talked about. I mean, and they just build it like pretty much how after Bryan got the title shot, build that all the same. Obviously, Bryan's been screwed for months by the Authority. They've been holding him back. I mean, you remember the whole shit how that went down. Obviously, Orton, the Authority's chosen one. So yeah, just let them have the one-on-one match. This will probably be a great WrestleMania main event overall, I reckon. Would it be as good as the actual triple threat? Maybe not, but like I say, I wanted to do Batista and Brock, so I think like leaving this as a singles match was the best option. And yeah, you don't have to, and yeah, basically, yeah, just that. And obviously, finish is obvious. I mean, it'd be pretty ridiculous if Daniel Bryan did not become the WWE champion. So obviously, as in real life, Daniel Bryan overcomes the odds. You can even do the thing where Stephanie and Triple H try to screw him again, having the crooked referee Armstrong back, and Daniel Bryan knocking Triple H down. Then obviously, so yes, look, Randy Orton taps out. Daniel Bryan's a new world champion. Obviously, the big celebration like happened in real life goes out, and that's how he ends WrestleMania 30. So, yeah, that's my WrestleMania 30 rebooking. Not sure. So if I do more, it's basically, if I get a good response to this video, I'll probably do some more. I mean, I did have in my mind to reboot WrestleMania 15. That's the one I'm really thinking about doing. So if you want to see that, drop me a comment. Then yeah, that's it. And obviously, just want to address something before I go. I will probably do Fastlane in a couple of weeks to a month. I just haven't really had time to sit and watch it or any interest really. I mean, because I did like 6 days in a row at work last week. I've been rewatching WrestleManias, and obviously I've had New Japan Cup to catch up on as well. So I'm just, Fastlane's quite low priority for me at the moment. So I'll probably review it down the line, maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe in a month's time. So if anyone wants to know, that's the reason Fastlane hasn't been uploaded, because I haven't really watched it all yet. So and that's the wrap, guys, and thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.